ne lomo tsao hai. Diu ne lomo tsao hai. That's Cantonese. Turns out people understand it all through the mainland, through Cantonese and Putonghua Mandarin. We call it Mandarin. They call it Putonghua. Diu ne lomo tsao hai. That's something I learned that I never wanted to learn. It's the very first Chinese I ever learned. It came even before ni hao for me. Ni hao, everybody knows ni hao, ni hao. Huh. They think it means hello. Hello. Ni hao. They come and they go. They like to watch. What ni hao actually means is ni, you, how, good. Ni hao, you good. So, in fact, if you're saying ni hao to someone, you're saying, you good. But if you're asking them how they're doing, you should be saying, ni hao ma. Ma is the end of a yes or no question. Ni hao ma. You well. Yes or no? Whereas, ni shi bu shi hao. Ni shi bu shi hao. You are or no are well. You can speak Chinese in a yes or no, but if you throw in the yes or no earlier on, you don't have to say the ma. Feeling like someone that's about to attack something, you know. But diu ne lomo tsao hai. Before I ever learned ni hao ma. Songeni, big gift. Jerry, before we were flying over to China, the first time he took me, when he said, come on, let's go. And I was like, got nothing better to do. A week later, I snuck out of my apartment with all my shit, and I was on a plane. But in the car, on a rainy day, within that week, he kept telling me, he says, D, and I'd say D, and he'd say you. I say you. Ne? Lao. Diu ne lao. I can't even remember. See, that's the thing I'm saying. When you start translating between languages, there are different files in your brain for different languages. We think language is language, but language gives a different meaning. You ever watch that movie Arrival? If you speak the right language, you can see where everything's going, and I see far. What's the right language? It's the one I speak when I'm talking to myself. You might have one of your own, but the thing is, those are different languages. It would be highly unreasonable to believe that we came up with our own languages that say the same things. Diu ne lomo tsao hai. He taught me to say that in the car as we're driving down like 99 or wherever the hell it was, the 5 or 101. I can't remember which road we were on, 680. And he taught me that, and I got it, and he just laughed. I kept repeating, and I got it. And I what I learned was Diu ne lomo tsao hai. you have to act angry. When I act angry when I'm learning Chinese, and it sounds Japanese, that's what he laughed. He said, it sounds Japanese. I said, I have to sound angry. And I found that the only way to communicate and to do business with people in China is to be angry. That it's like I said, nobody ever takes me seriously unless I'm fucking upset. And that's the only way they take people seriously over there, because they're such a good-natured people. This is no joke. What a good-natured people. And so he laughed when I said, "Di ne lo mo cao hai." And I said, what does that mean? I had already told him, I don't want to learn anything I can't use. And he laughed, and he said, it means, he said, it was the worst thing you could say to anybody in China. Like I said, it spanned the vocabulary, the languages from Cantonese to Putonghua, Mandarin. I get mixed up because I know the word, their word. It goes all across it, and he laughed, and he says, most offensive thing you can say to anybody. I said, fuck. I don't want to learn dirty words in another language. I need to learn how to buy cigarettes. I need to know how to buy beer. I need to know how to buy milk, which was hard to find in China. And I need to know how to find the toilet. Those are things that are important to begin with. And then you can establish your vocabulary in any language. Ein Bier bitte. 1 beer, please. 2 Bier bitte. 2 beers, please. That's German. And in Polish, piwo. They give you a beer. Ubikacja, toileta. They point to the toilet. It's Spanish, baños, which actually means a place to get clean. It doesn't mean the toilet. It doesn't mean the shitter. So Los Banos, California, it doesn't mean the shitter. People mistake that. It's there in the Central Valley, somewhere over Pacheco Pass, going east. It means the place to get clean. It was a special place, like Liberal, Kansas. They called it Liberal because they gave free water, whereas everywhere else, all these people were coming through, they made them pay for their water. And they say, wow, free water, that's mighty liberal of you. That's Liberal, Kansas. Generous people. So I was bothered. I'm like, Jimmy, Jerry, whatever your name is, you teach me this thing, when am I going to use it? And I'm not supposed to use it? Like my roommate at Michigan State, a very well-known person. I'm not going to say his name because this is a dirty story. He teaches me in Japanese, Ore no chimpo in the marrow by Shime. And he made me learn how to say it, and I'm telling him, I don't want to have anything. I mean this. I don't go for the dirty words. I can learn the dirty words in a minute. The things I need to know now. 现在. That's now in Chinese. Now. 现在. 请给我. Please give me. He taught me a Reino Chimpo and Numero by Shime. He had a girlfriend upstairs in the dorm, and he had a concubine, he called her, down the way upstairs in the dorm. One was supposed to be good and pretty and clean, and the other one was supposed to be the kind of girl you wanted to spend some time with. And so he taught me Reino Chimpo and Numero by Shime, and then he told me, you can't say that to anyone. And I was like, what the hell did you teach it to me for? Now I got it. And I've used it since then just as a joke in front of Japanese people. That strange girls that didn't know Japanese are like, what? And the Japanese owners of the company are like, oh, I said it, I still got it, you know. But the thing is, with him, when he told me never to use Areno Chimpo and Numero Baishime again, and he told me never use it again. And after he went back to Japan, I ran into the girlfriend upstairs in the bar. And she was an innocent. She was just with people always, you know, just innocent. And I saw her and I said, oh, I said, Oreno Chimpo and Numero Baishime. And she said, oh. And I said, what? What? She said, oh. I said, doesn't that mean you look beautiful? And she said, no, that is a very bad thing to say. And I was like, oh. And I did that to get back at him for teaching me something that I wasn't allowed to tell anybody, because what I said to her standing in Dooley's in East Lansing while she's standing there without even a drink in her hand, I said to her, suck my dick, fucking bitch. Reno Chimpo Numero Baishame. Fucking whore. Fucking bitch. It equates. And so, and she must have known, that's why I did this, that he's the one that taught me this. Where else would a dumb Polak learn Japanese? And he taught me that, and I fucking stabbed him in the back with it. And I had no intention, and it didn't happen. It was just a joke. You fucking guy, teach me something that I don't need. And so, Diune Lomo Tao Hai. That's Jerry taught me that before going to China, and then I got to use it a couple times, and it really shuts people down. Cab drivers, they you know, you can get in a fight in an alley, screaming you near a fight, and say that to someone, and they go and it's almost like you don't even have to fight. Kick them a few times while they're still all freaked out. You know what? How's it go? Hi. You gotta stay out of the game. And so I say Gwen Kai. That's Chinese. What I learned, I said, you just say things with vehemence. Gwen Kai means get out of here. And I started using the word homeless instead of bums to be politically correct, so I didn't get in trouble. When I was on 90.5 FM KSJS San Jose, I would use the word homeless instead of bum. Because, you know, bum, that sounds like, it sounds really pretty prejudiced and bigoted, and like we're looking, even though I was on a train once and I looked out at the damn park when we were going by it, just before dusk when the sun's shining through, and I saw a group of people, and there was another one over there, and they were all in a circle, these people that sit in the park and share their drugs when nobody's looking, and they just and they paw each other. And this one guy was over there, and I'm sitting there waiting for the people to get on the train, looking out the window, just kind of bored. And he gets up over there and he starts walking toward the circle of the people. And the one guy sitting on the edge of the circle turns around and goes, ah! And he goes, ah! And he goes and he sits back fucking down. You know, we can say it's prejudice and bigoted all we want to use the word bums, but these bums that were hanging out in the park doing whatever the fuck they were, they are practically a different species. It's somewhere in between. We can see how we came together as a society of people that can build factories and shit. The way that these people are connected, and they turn the fucking loser out. You know, they kept their business in line. He just didn't let that guy in. He was a rogue. He was a castaway. They kicked his ass out of there. And so I say bum. I can say it now. Made it this far without being one. And these bums, they come up in China. I'm used to bums in the US where you can say, get the fuck away from me. And they go, yeah, sorry, man, sorry. You know, everybody communicates. But the bums in China, and the sad thing is they've moved in from the rice fields into the city thinking that they could do better. And because all these bums are moving in to the rice fields, while I was there was rice shortage because there were no farmers doing the rice anymore. And I hate to call a farmer a bum, but these people just left their shit behind and started fucking asking for money because it was more lucrative. And they come up and they touch you and they touch you, and then it's like, I knew Gwen Kai. It's Gwen Kai. And they still keep touching you. And you don't touch people in the US if you're a bum. You get punched in the face. But I'm like, I don't really need to go to a Chinese prison for beating up a bum. You don't know what they'll do. They hate the bums too. But, I mean, they let them run around naked. I mean, there was this one woman that was a bum. She'd walk around totally naked. And she had a birthmark. And it was like somebody had just thrown her in the ditch. And she, in a dumpster, and she ate and she survived and she grew up and she was just like, and she didn't speak. And she'd walk around completely naked. And Stanley, my friend, I'd say, there she is. And he's like, what? And he'd turn around, he'd never see her. And then there was one day after several times of me saying, there she is, and him not seeing her, he thought I was making this up because I said, she's got great tits. For a bum, she had great tits. And he really wanted to see it. And then one day, there she is. And I turned around and I said, what? And he was freaked out. He's like, He says, I saw her, you didn't see her? And he got freaked out because he thought he was starting to have the same delusions that I was, but he saw her, even though I didn't see her. They've got bums walking around in China all over the place. There was one guy that used to just walk around. One day you'd see him with his pants. Next day you'd see him with a shirt and no pants and shoes and his dinks hanging out. Next day you'd see him just walking around without shoes, totally naked, and he's just happy. These people are mindless. There are animals walking amongst us. We are all animals, but there are different degrees of the mental capacity of some of these animals. I mean, if they're not raised by humans, they're just going to become whatever they are. Totally overlooked. What a joy. One day I took shoes out to him. Big ass shoes because he had big ass feet. That's for you ladies. This guy was probably 6 feet, 6'3", big ass feet, and he had a little dink. Don't look at a man's shoes. I always wonder why it is a woman looks at my shoes and says, those are nice shoes. I'm like, well, I've never noticed anybody's shoes in my life. Why is it the women always notice the shoes? Oh, because they heard the myth. They heard the myth about big feet being a big dick. This guy proved otherwise. And don't get me started about, rappers and Asian women and why it is they like them. It's because the humidity in their homeland. Just naturally more flaccid, naturally more filled. Keep the heat away from your testosterone, you know? Didn't you see that Cheers episode where Sam had to wear cold packs in his crotch because he was trying to impregnate Rebecca, and it ended up in Dr. Fraser Crane's will? You know what I'm talking about. So the thing is, you got these people and they're touching you and you get off of me, Gwen Kai. And I'd been taught, Gwen Kai, get out of here. I'd also been taught, Gwen Jibe. And I can only equate it to that because this was shared with me. I can only equate it to being like, get the fuck out of here. But what I understand, the way it works, is it's a much more pronounced version of Gwen Kai. Gwen Jibe is much more aggressive, and I have no idea what it means. But there was the one night, and you could buy a 22-ounce bottle of beer, local beer, for $0.25 US. Hey, it looks bigger than a quarter, but the beer is bigger than you'd expect for a quarter. So it was during the monsoon season, and we don't talk about the monsoon in China too much. They talk about it in the subcontinent of India. However, there is that time where the just rains come down and it's warm. It's my favorite kind of rain, where it's just hot as fucking else, and rain comes down and washes all the pollution out of the air, and it stinks like hell, but at least you can breathe. And I'm walking, and it's fucking pouring rain. I got myself a fucking beer. It's a bottle. I'm walking down the fucking road in the damn pouring rain, straight down, just like bath water. Just the heat, the warmth, and it's like, and I'd had enough, and I was on the way to the bar. I'd had enough to feel really good, and I'm just fucking plowing through, and the rain's just pouring down me. I'm fucking wet rat, and I see all these people under the awning just hiding from the rain, and I'm walking down the middle of the street with nothing on it. Sometimes the rain seemed to come up from the ground, whatever. There's fucking water. You're walking through a goddamn aquarium, and it's just like, it feels good. And I'm fucking charging through this, and this bum comes up to me, and he starts going, and I'm like, and he's going, comes up. I said, and he's like, and I said, Gwen Kai, and he said, and I said, Gwen Jibe, get the fuck away from me, motherfucker. I said all those things at once, and I don't know whether they understood Gwen Jibe or motherfucker, but it was the first time in China that a goddamn bum went, and he got the fuck away from me. So if you want to get a Chinese bum off your ass when you're on the way to the bar, you either say Gwen Jibe or get the fuck away from me, motherfucker.